World War I, also known as the Great War, erupted in 1914 following the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. What started as an isolated incident quickly escalated into a widespread conflict that spanned across Europe, leaving an indelible mark on history. Lasting 4 years, the war witnessed unprecedented levels of carnage and destruction, forever changing the course of nations. The conflict pitted the Central Powers, Germany, Austria-Hungary, Bulgaria, and the Ottoman Empire, against the Allied Powers, a coalition comprising Great Britain, France, Russia, Italy, Romania, Canada, Japan, and the United States. The war's theaters sprawled across various fronts, from the trenches of Western Europe to the vast expanses of the Eastern Front. World War I witnessed a paradigm shift in military technology, introducing new and lethal weapons. The emergence of trench warfare, marked by a network of deep trenches and fortified positions, defined the grueling nature of the conflict. Soldiers faced unimaginable challenges and horrors in the trenches, creating a dark chapter in the history of warfare. The war exacted an enormous human cost, with more than 16 million soldiers and civilians losing their lives. The scale of destruction was unparalleled, leaving scars on the landscapes and societies of the nations involved. The aftermath of World War I would shape geopolitical dynamics for decades to come. Years preceding the outbreak of World War I, Europe found itself entangled in a web of tensions, particularly in the southeastern region, with Bosnia, Serbia, and Herzegovina at the heart of the storm. This simmering discontent would eventually reach its explosive climax, setting the stage for one of the most significant conflicts in history. Long before the world was plunged into the chaos of World War I, the Balkans, and in particular Bosnia, Serbia, and Herzegovina, experienced heightened tensions. Nationalist fervor, ethnic rivalries, and aspirations for independence created a volatile mix, setting the scene for the tragic events that unfolded. The catalyst for the war emerged in the streets of Sarajevo, Bosnia, on June 28, 1914, with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife, Sophie, by Gavrilo Princip, a Serbian nationalist. Princip and his compatriots were driven by a desire to end Austro-Hungarian rule over Bosnia and Herzegovina, and their actions would have far-reaching consequences. In the aftermath of the assassination, Austria-Hungary pointed fingers at the Serbian government, blaming them for the attack. Seizing the opportunity, Austria-Hungary sought to settle the question of Serbian nationalism decisively. The incident in Sarajevo became the pretext for Austria-Hungary to take drastic measures and address long-standing issues in the region. The blame game between Austria-Hungary and Serbia quickly escalated into a full-blown crisis. As alliances were activated, and nations took sides, the tensions that had been smoldering in the Balkans ignited the powder keg of Europe. Please hit the like and subscribe button. It will encourage us to serve you quality contents. Also click the notification bell icon to stay up to date with our community. Now let's continue. With Russia standing firmly by Serbia, Kaiser Wilhelm II pledging support to Austria-Hungary on July 5, 1914, the stage was set for a conflict that involved major powers. Apprehensions loomed as both sides feared the involvement of France and Great Britain, allies of Russia. On July 28, 1914, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, shattering the peace among Europe's great powers. In a matter of days, a complex web of alliances emerged, with Russia, Belgium, France, Great Britain, and Serbia aligning against Austria-Hungary and Germany. This marked the official commencement of World War I. German Field Marshal Alfred von Schlieffen devised an ambitious military strategy known as the Schlieffen Plan. This plan aimed to tackle the war on two fronts, invading France through Belgium in the west while confronting Russia in the east. This strategic move set the stage for the intense battles that followed. August 4, 1914, witnessed the initiation of the First Battle of World War I. German troops, executing the Schlieffen Plan, crossed into Belgium and launched a relentless assault on the city of Liege. Employing their formidable siege cannons, they captured Liege by August 15, leaving death and destruction in their wake. The brutality extended as German forces executed a Belgian priest accused of inciting civilian resistance. As the Great War unfolded, the landscape of conflict evolved, and strategic battles played a pivotal role in determining the course of history. French and British forces confronted the invading German army in a critical showdown within 30 miles of Paris. As the German forces penetrated deep into northeastern France, the Allied forces launched a counterattack during the First Battle of the Marne, driving the Germans back north of the Aisne River and preventing the fall of Paris. The Battle of Verdun, spanning from February to December 1916, and the Battle of the Somme, lasting from July to November 1916, stand as two of the most grueling and devastating conflicts of World War I. Both Germany and France suffered casualties nearing 1 million in the Battle of Verdun alone, underscoring the immense human cost of these engagements. On the Eastern Front, Russian forces invaded the German-held regions of Prussia and Poland. The Battle of Tannenberg, occurring in late August 1914, witnessed the clash between Russian, German, and Austrian forces. Germany, despite facing challenges on multiple fronts, sought to maintain its position and strategic advantage. The Battle of the Marne marked a turning point as Russia's assault forced Germany to redirect forces from the Western Front to the Eastern Front. The combined resistance of Russia and France, leveraging their formidable war machines, ensured a longer and more grueling conflict. Germany's aspirations of a swift victory under the Schlieffen Plan gave way to the reality of a protracted struggle. While the Western Front witnessed intense battles and strategic shifts, the Eastern Front experienced its own complexities and transformations. From 1914 to 1916, the unyielding German lines on the Eastern Front posed a formidable challenge. However, internal pressures and economic instability eventually led to a seismic shift in the dynamics with the Russian Revolution of 1917. Despite multiple offensives by the Russian army, the German lines on the Eastern Front remained impervious. The grueling nature of the conflict, coupled with economic instability and scarcity of essential resources, fueled discontent among the Russian population, particularly among impoverished workers and peasants. As defeat loomed on the battlefield, mounting discontent reached a boiling point in Russia. The impoverished population directed their hostility towards Tsar Nicholas II and his German-born wife, Alexandra. This discontent set the stage for the Russian Revolution of 1917, a seismic event led by Vladimir Lenin and the Bolsheviks, resulting in the end of Tsarist rule. The Russian Revolution brought an end to the Romanov dynasty and marked the ascendance of Lenin's Bolsheviks. The revolutionaries initiated radical political and social changes, fundamentally altering the course of Russian history. The Bolshevik government, formed in the aftermath, pursued an agenda that included withdrawing Russia from World War I. In early December 1917, Russia reached a truce with the Central Powers, officially withdrawing from World War I. This decision freed German troops to focus their efforts on the remaining allies on the Western Front. The exit of Russia from the war had profound implications for the overall balance of power and strategy in the global conflict. As the world plunged into the depths of World War I in 1914, American President Woodrow Wilson championed a neutrality policy that permitted commerce and shipping with European nations. However, maintaining this stance became increasingly challenging in the face of German submarine aggression targeting neutral ships, including those carrying passengers. In 1914, President Wilson's neutrality policy allowed Americans to engage in commerce and shipping with belligerent European countries. The situation changed dramatically in 1915 as German U-boat submarines aggressively attacked neutral ships, leading to the sinking of several commercial and passenger vessels, including those flying the American flag. In response, Germany declared the waters surrounding the British Isles a war zone, intensifying tensions. The sinking of the British ocean liner Lusitania in 1915, with hundreds of American passengers on board, became a turning point. The tragedy fueled public outrage in the United States, prompting protests against Germany. American Congress, responding to the rising anti-German sentiment, passed an arm appropriations bill of $250 million, signaling the nation's readiness for war. As tensions escalated, Germany's continued attacks on U.S. merchant ships pushed President Woodrow Wilson to take decisive action. On April 2, 1917, President Wilson appeared before Congress and delivered a historic address, declaring war against Germany. This marked a pivotal moment as America shifted from a stance of neutrality to active participation in World War I. As World War I unfolded across Europe, the Ottoman Empire joined the conflict in late 1914, aligning with the Central Powers. The Allies, seeking victory against the Ottoman Empire, faced challenges as the war settled into a standstill in Europe. In 1915, the Allied forces, led by Britain, launched the ill-fated Gallipoli campaign in the Ottoman Empire. Rumors circulated about the resignation of the First Lord of the British Admiralty following the failure of the large-scale invasion. Despite initial successes, the Allies suffered significant casualties during the campaign, leading to a retreat from the shores of the Gallipoli Peninsula. As the Gallipoli campaign unfolded, British-led Allied forces clashed with Ottoman Turks in Egypt and Mesopotamia. Simultaneously, in northern Italy, Austrian and Italian forces engaged in a series of battles along the Isonzo River, which marked the border between the two nations. Italy had joined the Allies before the First Battle of the Isonzo in late spring 1915. The 12th Battle of the Isonzo, also known as the Battle of Caporetto, took place in October 1917. Austria-Hungary achieved a decisive victory, aided by German reinforcements. Witnessed the turning point as British, French, and American troops arrived in the region to assist Italy in regaining control of the Italian front. The intervention reshaped the dynamics of the conflict in the southern European theater. Following the Battle of Dogger Bank in January 1915, where Britain launched a surprise attack on German ships in the North Sea, Germany opted to rely heavily on its U-boat submarines. Rather than confronting Britain's formidable Royal Navy directly, Germany strategically deployed U-boats to disrupt maritime activities. The Battle of Jutland in 1916, the largest naval engagement of World War I, marked a critical moment. Germany, facing British naval superiority, refrained from further attempts to break the Allied naval blockade. The unyielding British control over the North Sea became a decisive factor in the naval theater. On July 15, 1918, German troops launched their final offensive, targeting a combined force of American, French, and British troops in the Second Battle of the Marne. The Allies, successfully repelling the German offensive, swiftly counterattacked just 3 days later. The Second Battle of the Marne shifted the momentum decisively in favor of the Allies. As the year 1918 progressed, the Central Powers faced internal challenges. Despite the Turkish victory at Gallipoli, defeats by invading forces and an Arab revolt weakened the Ottoman Empire. In late October 1918, Turkey signed a treaty with the Allies. Austria-Hungary, grappling with nationalist movements, reached an armistice on November 4th. Germany, facing resource shortages, discontent on the home front, and the surrender of its allies, sought an armistice on November 11, 1918, bringing an end to World War I. With over 9 million soldiers and 10 million civilians losing their lives, the war's impact resonated globally, contributing to the fall of imperial dynasties and introducing the world to the grim reality of modern warfare. World War I stands as a grim testament to the scale of human sacrifice, claiming the lives of over 9 million soldiers and leaving 21 million wounded. Civilian casualties approached 10 million, with Germany and France bearing the brunt. These nations sent a staggering 80% of their male populations aged 15 to 49 into battle, creating a profound and lasting impact on their societies. The political disruption caused by World War I led to the downfall of 4 venerable imperial dynasties: Germany, Austria-Hungary, Russia, and Turkey. The war marked the end of long-standing monarchies, paving the way for a new era in political structures and ideologies. World War I earned the moniker, the First Modern War, as it introduced a host of technologies that have since become synonymous with military conflict. From machine guns and tanks to aerial combat and radio communications, these innovations were deployed on an unprecedented scale, shaping the nature of warfare for generations to come. The war brought about a massive social upheaval, with millions of women entering the workforce to replace men who went to war, as well as those who never returned. This shift had far-reaching implications for gender roles and societal norms, marking a transformative moment in history. The severe effects of chemical weapons such as mustard gas and phosgene on soldiers and civilians during World War I led to a collective condemnation of their use. In 1925, the Geneva Convention agreements were signed, restricting the use of chemical and biological agents in warfare. These agreements remain in effect today, serving as a testament to the enduring impact of the war on global norms and ethical considerations. Explore the echoes of suffering, the fall of empires, and the technological revolution that defined World War I. The war's legacy extends beyond its immediate impact, leaving an indelible mark on the course of history and the collective consciousness of humanity.